Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Skyleap, but I also want to expand about what Skyleap represents. I know that if I feature a game that has no marketing, no real hype, and it's an indie VR game, not many of you watch, maybe, I don't know, 10,000 views after maybe even 2 weeks. And the reason behind that is I think indie VR games have a pretty bad name at the moment. And this isn't helped by a lot of the crap that we've had on the Meta store, just taking up so much space and real estate. And also with Horizon making it quite hard to find games. With PlayStation, we are now getting a wave or an influx of bad indie games on that platform as well, which is something that didn't really happen on PSVR all too much, but it is happening, especially in the last year or so. I think people are very wary of what they're buying on PSVR2 more than ever before. So in today's video, talking about Skyleap, it represents to me why people aren't interested in indie VR games, and it's got a bad name at the moment. And I think Skyleap is a great example of why I struggle to even think, should I make a video on this? Because if I make a video that no one cares about, it basically affects my channel, it affects my algorithm, it makes the channel look like it's not performing very well. But I still want to do that stuff because it's me and it's about you guys. It's about telling you the truth about the poor sucker who sees a game or sees a trailer and thinks this game's good and I'm going to buy it. And I want to try and tell you guys if a game is worth spending money on and also when to avoid it. So in regards to Skyleap, I only wanted to play this for about 20 to 30 minutes, and one of the main reasons this game doesn't do a good job at providing its core gameplay loop of basically running using your hands, and we've seen this before with Stride, and being able to grab hold of ledges and other items in the world. And that's because nothing is really solid apart from the things you're trying to grab. And the grabbing mechanic itself is so precise that you will constantly miss grabbing these ledges. So that's one frustration, and I found it a bit interesting, like to make a game like this and not have anything solid and have things that are genuinely hard to grab in a game that's all about grabbing things was really confusing to me. Secondly, it's just not very interesting to look at, and it really does look like the very first alpha or beta version of Stride. It was available on the original PSVR and MetaQuest and PCVR, and that game was literally about doing what we're doing in this game, and that, well, it's not on a replica, but it's just nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as fun. It's not as exhilarating. But before I go too hard, let me try and find some positives. Wall running is pretty good. I kind of like that. Grappling things to swing across gaps is pretty cool. But again, that's about it. There's not really anything to do here. There's like 20 time trials, and then there's endless mode. And also there's a weekly challenge board. But to be honest, I just found it just frustrating and not fun to play. And then there's the visuals. And as I said, it is super basic. I don't know why it's so basic. When it comes to actually utilizing PSVR2, it does kind of look clean, but because the graphics are just so unimpressive, it doesn't really matter how clean it looks and how sharp it looks. It doesn't look incredibly sharp. We've seen sharper games, but it doesn't do anything wrong in that sense. There is some headset rumble when you die. The haptics feel okay, but honestly, outside of this should be like a free demo. This shouldn't be something people should buy. And I know it's only $10 or $11, I think it is. But still, I don't think it should be on sale, really. I don't really understand it. So what I did to make sure of my thoughts on comparing this to Stride was play Stride Fates, which released on PSVR2 maybe 2 years ago. I actually really enjoyed that game. It wasn't the perfect game again, but something it did right, because the developers brought everything they learned from Strides into Stride Fates, is the actual parkour of the game is solid. Like, it's really solid, and all the items in the world are solid. You can literally rub walls, the guns feel good, there's things to collect, there's a story there if you want to do it. The cities look good, like the levels in general look really quite good. So my advice to everyone is don't try Skyleap. Don't try it, don't buy it. And it's really sad to say that, I want this year to be, with all the news of Meta and things changing for indie devs, I want to support indie devs, but at the same time, I can't do that if the game isn't doing anything new. Indie devs are meant to be about doing something quite inventive, something we might not have seen before. And you can forgive certain things like graphics and some mechanics, but like, this does nothing new and it does it worse. So it puts it in only one place for me, and that is an avoid. Stay away from it. It's like a very poor demo. of Stride, and if you're looking for a game that does good parkour, I would say Stride is the game for you. Stride Fates. As I said, I jumped in today. I found it pretty good. You know, I was playing it. I was like, wow, I kind of forgot about this. You can hack terminals. You've got the slow-mo ability to do some really cool, like, shooting and action. You can melee the characters. Stabbing feels excellent. You can even flip the knives and stuff. Like, there's a lot to like there. And Skyleap is probably only really applicable to people who forgot about Stride Fates. So that's what this video is about. I just wanted to let you know that if you're looking for a parkour game, avoid Skyleap, go for Stride Fates, but also don't lose hope on indie VR devs. Not every developer out there is trying to just replicate something that someone else has done. There is some genuine innovation there. And arguably, as we said in the Gamertag and Bradley podcast, Shuei Yoshida actually said about Gamertag, like being one of the key innovations of movement in VR. And regardless of how you feel about that game, he's right. There is an innovation there, and I think that's what we need to look for in indie games. Some sort of innovation, even a good story, something that makes it either different or just compelling in its own right. And unfortunately, games like this and many others, I don't want to just pick on this game, but it just so happens that this game right now is at a critical time for me where I'm trying to work out where VR is going, and games like this are not where I want it to go. If you want to put out some sort of tech demo like this to say to people, we're working on a game like this, what do you reckon? I would have said, the grabbing's poor, nothing's solid in the world, the hands look boring, the game looks boring, the music's repetitive. I'd have given all that feedback, but instead they've given me a review copy of a game, which means it's coming out and it's going to cost people money. What do they want me to do? They've privately messaged me and said, can you give us some feedback? And I'm like, is the game out or do you want playtesting? And they were like, no, we'd love a video. So here's the video for you guys. Is that I don't know why you bothered. You could have just sent me a build of this privately and I would have told you not to bother, because that's what I'm going to tell everyone in the community. It's a poor man's Stride, and unfortunately it's another game that makes indie VR games look bad. So yeah, there's my video. Thank you for watching my TED Talk about indie VR games. Just stay optimistic. Just stay optimistic. Good things are going to happen this year. I truly believe 2026 is going to be a great year, and I'll see you on the next one.